one of the stories in 2 Kings about one of the things that Elijah did. Of course, I can't read the whole passage, but from 1 Kings chapter 17, where he said, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my word. The widow at Zarephath is just one person right here. But one thing we can see that happened is that she experienced dryness. She experienced scarcity. She experienced fear. She experienced anxiety, and she experienced lack. In verse 12, it says, as surely as the Lord lives, she replied, I don't have any bread, scarcity. Only a handful of flour in a jar, and a little olive oil in a jug. I'm gathering a few sticks to take home and make a meal for myself and my son, that we may die. We may eat and die. There was no hope. It was a drought season. It was a season of famine. And, I thought about the situation, and I'm like, how many times have we found ourselves without hope? And I really like this story because it signifies that, there can be tightness. Things might be tight. There might be lack. When there is lack, there is anxiety. When there is anxiety, there is fear, and it keeps going up. And this situation, it doesn't just affect one person. Because even looking at this story, I did a deep dive and realized that widows were not always poor. They were not always wretched. It's not that they never had jobs. They had jobs. They could farm. They could help on the farm. They could weave. But you see, when there is famine and there is drought, there is no water. When there is no water, how are we going to till the ground? How are the plants going to rise and bring forth fruit? How is there even going to be cotton so that it can be woven into outfits? So more or less, the widow is out of work. A lot of people are out of work. The beauty of this passage is that when Elijah came, what did he do? He said, don't be afraid. And I'm telling you today, don't be afraid. Because that is the word of the Lord. What did he do? He said in verse 14, it says, the jar of flour will not be used up. The jug of oil will not run dry until the day the Lord sends rain on the land. So he provided. God used him to provide for this widow. God used him in such a way that we know definitely that the provision might not have been to everyone, but the provision was to the one God identified to be blessed. And I stand to tell you today that you've been identified to be blessed. And the Lord will bless you, and the Lord will increase you, and the Lord will sustain you, and the Lord will provide for you. And when you see people that are rising, you will also rise. You will not be left behind. You will not be desolate in the mighty name of Jesus. The Lord will help us in every single thing that we do in the mighty name of Jesus. One of the things that I realized, even with this story, I realized that I pray we will never be local champions, because they talked about it yesterday. But I realized that she had olive oil. She could sell. But I realized that it did not fix the whole problem.